The world of Dexter is filled with excitement and tension, with a secret lab hidden behind his bedroom wall. Dexter invents futuristic gadgets, but his mischievous sister, Dee Dee, can't resist crashing the party. She's like a tornado of chaos in a lab coat. And if that's not enough, enter Mandark, the rival genius with a hairstyle as tall as his ego, always plotting to one-up Dexter. Can Dexter keep his lab a secret while surviving Dee Dee's antics and outsmarting his pompous nemesis? Tune in for laughs, explosions, and the most epic sibling rivalry in animated history. It's a bright morning, and Dexter is trying to dodge yet another dreadful PE class. But oh no, he must have forgotten his lucky underpants because the substitute coach forces him to play. Talk about a ballistic situation. Those balls seem to have a mind of their own, homing in on Dexter's, sensitive area. But fear not, because our ingenious hero hatches a plan for sweet revenge. The next day, Dexter arrives at the court sporting an exosuit that's straight out of a sci-fi flick. With a poker face that could rival the pros, he turns the tables on those bullies. Boom! Those balls are hitting their behinds now. Revenge is a dish best served with a side of victory.
Who wants some?
The life of Dexter in his pursuit of the perfect sandwich begins. With mouth-watering anticipation, he bakes a fresh loaf of bread only to discover that his treasured sandwich cutter has mysteriously vanished. Cue the meltdown! You know what they say, a genius and their sandwich tools are not to be messed with. Let's not judge Dexter. We all have priorities in life. Now, the hunt for the missing cutter leads Dexter straight into the lair of his mischievous sister, Dee Dee. Wearing a cheaper version, Mark II, Dexter embarks on a daring mission to reclaim what is rightfully his. 3 days of stealth, tension, and maybe a few tears later, he emerges victorious, clutching the sacred sandwich cutter in triumph. Mission accomplished, sandwich satisfaction restored. Dexter's inventions and experiments. Later inside the lab, Dexter enjoys his smartness and cool creations like a super-fast computer, a huge microscope, and lots of screens. But peace doesn't last long because here comes Dee Dee causing trouble again. This time, she brings her friends Lily and Mimi along. It's not just double trouble, it's triple trouble. They start wrecking the lab, making a big mess. To stop them, Dexter makes a copy of himself. But things go haywire when the three troublemakers also multiply themselves. It gets even messier. As a last-ditch effort, Dexter creates a bunch of copies of himself. After a chaotic battle, things finally calm down and the girls leave him alone. Now, that was a wild adventure in the lab with triple trouble and a lot of excitement. Dexter, being a brilliant scientist, has finally created a nifty machine to contact aliens. But oh boy, it starts malfunctioning for some unknown reason. Dexter stumbles upon his mischievous sister, Dee Dee, having a tea party inside the machine. Dee Dee sure has an interesting choice of scenery, I tell you. After fixing those pesky technical issues, Dexter boldly sends out some alien signals. To his utter surprise, the aliens show up in a jiffy. Maybe they were just really eager to join a tea party. Dexter welcomes them with open arms and plugs in his ingenious audio translator. Soon, the aliens reveal their true intentions. They want to experiment on poor Dexter. Just when things are looking grim, Dee Dee jumps into the picture. Believe it or not, this is the first time Dexter is actually glad to have Dee Dee around. He feeds her FIP and off she goes with the aliens. Good riddance. Or so he thought. Soon enough, Dexter starts to miss his devilish sister. Determined to rescue her, our genius hero suits up and hops into his sleek spaceship. Vroom vroom, off he goes into the great unknown. Dexter tracks down the alien ship and crashes right into it. Talk about making a grand entrance. But here's the twist. The aliens are actually relieved to see Dexter. They swiftly hand over Dee Dee to him. Poor aliens must have had a tough time dealing with her antics. I personally wouldn't blame them. Finally, the adventurous siblings return home safely with smiles on their faces and stories to tell. Story arc, Dexter's rivalries. It's a morning unlike any other, filled with anticipation and excitement for Dexter as he wakes up ready to conquer the challenges of another school day. With a squeaky clean appearance, he embarks on his journey to school, brimming with enthusiasm. Little did he know that this day would take an unexpected turn, transforming from a joyful adventure into a nightmare. As Dexter stepped into the classroom, the teachers couldn't contain their delight at having their beloved genius student back in action. Now, Dexter was the teacher's pet, a title that usually earned the ire of his peers. However, to his utter surprise, as the teacher began the lecture, an unfamiliar student rose to the occasion, effortlessly providing answers before the teacher could even solve the questions. This mysterious student, who would soon be known as Mandark, had arrived to challenge Dexter's position as the reigning intellectual force in the class. Mandark swiftly claimed a seat beside Dexter, effortlessly proving himself superior in every subject and quiz. He became like a party pooper for poor Dexter, casting a shadow of dread over his school days. Filled with horror and frustration, Dexter returned home, tears streaming down his face. Later, Mandark insists on visiting Dexter's lab. As they enter the lab, Dexter beamed with confidence, displaying his incredible technological gadgets. However, to his dismay, Mandark appeared bored, stifling yawns that betrayed his lack of interest. Disregarding Dexter's self-introduction, Mandark clicked his watch, triggering a teleportation that left Dexter speechless, standing in awe of Mandark's extraordinary lab. Mandark wasted no time accusing Dexter of squandering his energy and bringing disgrace to the world of science. He presented Dexter with two choices: either become his lackey or shut down his beloved lab, a devastating ultimatum for our young genius. The following day, Mandark lays his eyes upon a mesmerizing beauty, Dee Dee. Talking about questionable taste. He begs Dexter to set him up for a date. A new opportunity arises for Dexter to get his revenge. The next day, Dee Dee visits Mandark's house. Initially, the duo were having a blast, but all of it changed when Dee Dee started dancing and wrecking his lab. Meanwhile, Dexter enjoys the show in his lab, the yin-yang theory. On this topic, let me fill you in with a theory that revolves around the relationship between Dexter and Mandark. Fans speculate that these two characters are actually two sides of the same coin, representing the light and dark aspects of scientific brilliance. Some even propose that Mandark is Dexter's alter ego, a manifestation of his deepest fears and insecurities. Could it be that Dexter and Mandark are two sides of the same genius coin, forever locked in an epic battle of wits? This theory is something that I can take seriously because throughout the series we see Dexter and Mandark fighting through their differences, but in the end, I think they're just the opposite to one another, expanding the lab and the universe. Dexter and Dee Dee eagerly rise to greet an eventful day, brimming with anticipation. As they gather around the breakfast table, their mom surprises them with her beloved cereals. While happily munching away, fate interjects with a letter containing a series of tasks that upon completion would grant them the coveted title of official club members. Talk about a stroke of luck. The siblings immediately dive into a fierce debate, each claiming that their club will reign supreme. Amidst the playful insults, Dexter retreats to his lab while Dee Dee retreats to her room. And so begins the epic sibling rivalry, with both of them embarking on a tireless quest to decipher their hidden message. The fruits of their labor soon appear as they finally decode their respective papers. However, to their surprise, the tasks are not what they expected. Dexter finds himself donning a skirt for his first task, followed by an unexpected detour to pick flowers, culminating in an adventure in the kitchen where he bakes bread. Meanwhile, Dee Dee's tasks are filled with action and excitement. After completing all his challenges, Dexter excitedly heads to the Action Hanks Club, only to discover that his sheets were mixed up with Dee Dee's. Meanwhile, poor Dee Dee finds herself facing consequences in the Pony Puff Club for her mischievous behavior. Determined to save his sister, Dexter musters the help of Action Hanks and embarks on a daring rescue mission. Science fiction and fantasy elements. On yet another lovely day at the Dexter's residence, Dee Dee found herself captivated by the graceful flight of birds. Little did she know that her encounter with a baby turtle would shock her. Spotting a falcon swooping down, Dee Dee's heroic instincts kicked in, and she leaped into action, saving the turtle from becoming a hawk's lunch. She then scooped up the turtle and affectionately named it Birdie, convinced that it was a bird egg that just hadn't cracked yet. Talk about a celebrity in the making. In an attempt to keep Bird warm, Dee Dee ingeniously tied the turtle to her hair. As she made her way to her room, she had an unexpected encounter with Dexter, who was deeply engrossed in his paperwork. With their paths colliding faster than a speeding turtle, Dee Dee took a tumble, causing Birdie to suffer some serious damage. Oops, I guess they didn't see that one coming. To avoid any hilarious arguments, Dexter decided to put his scientific skills to the test. With this robotic arm, prestonic neck, he transformed Birdie into a bionic wonder. Move over, Iron Man. There's a new hero in town, Turtle Man. Now with super speed and Herculean strength, Birdie was ready to take on the world. But Dee Dee, bless her feather-headed heart, still insisted that Birdie's a bird in disguise. Some things never change. As the debate raged on, Birdie noticed a familiar face tormenting other turtles, the same falcon that had almost turned him into an avian appetizer. With a battle cry, Birdie blasted through the wall, leaving behind a turtly awesome exit. He raced to the rescue, leaving the falcon shell-shocked and defeated. Looks like our bionic buddy had a shell of a time proving his hero status. Cross over with just his friends. Now shifting gears to Dexter's lab, where he conducts an experiment on a monkey in the hopes of creating a superpowered primate, but things don't go as planned as the monkey gains incredible powers and receives a message from Agent Q while getting summoned to another dimension. Talk about monkey business on a cosmic scale. In this dimension, Earth's mightiest heroes face off against the mighty Razor, an intergalactic champion with a penchant for planet destruction. Hero after hero falls before him, until our superpowered monkey steps into the ring. Despite getting knocked down repeatedly, the little monkey's determination shines bright. And guess what? His unwavering spirit convinces Razor to spare Earth. Maybe it was the cuteness factor or just some intergalactic soft spot. On another typical day in the lab, Dexter meticulously works on his latest experiment. He had taken on the ambitious task of teleporting an apple atom by atom, and after a few failed attempts, he finally succeeded. Applauding his scientific prowess, Dexter's excitement grew as he turned his attention to the ultimate challenge, teleporting himself. However, he encountered a setback due to a power drain and had to wait patiently for another day. The following day brought a fully recharged power supply, and Dexter was ready to embark on his teleportation journey. Ignoring the warning signals from the computers, he initiated the process with unwavering confidence. But things took an unexpected turn. As the teleportation unfolded, Dexter found himself transformed into Dee Dee's foot. Yes, you heard it right. Our genius scientist became a mere appendage. Invisible to Dee Dee, Dexter suffered the consequences of her carefree footsteps, getting bumped and thumped along the way. Frantically, he managed to catch her attention and pleaded for her to stay still. Of course, with Dee Dee being Dee Dee, standing still was simply out of the question. And just when things couldn't get any more chaotic, their mom called them for lunch, prompting Dee Dee to dash around the house like a whirlwind. To everyone's surprise, Dee Dee showcased some unexpected smarts at the dinner table. It was a true delightful moment. But alas, her intelligence didn't extend to her audition. Blame it on Dexter's stupid science. No, I didn't say it. It was Dee Dee. Fueled by a desire for revenge, Dee Dee came up with a plan to expose Dexter's secret lab to their father. However, before she could spill the beans, her father unexpectedly revealed that her dance teacher had called to inform her that she made the cut. Talk about a twist of fate. Thinking quickly, Dee Dee shifted the conversation, cleverly mentioning Dexter's newfound interest in dance. After enduring a grueling 10-hour charging session, Dexter finally managed to separate his highly intelligent atoms from Dee Dee's, less intelligent ones, and thus the duo returned to their normal states, bringing an end to their unusual fusion adventure. Time Traveler Dee Dee Theory. At this point, you might wonder how come Dee Dee crashes Dexter plans most of the time. Well, there is one theory that suggests that Dee Dee possesses a secret power to travel through time. As evidence, fans point to the numerous episodes where Dee Dee seemingly appears out of nowhere, causing chaos in Dexter's lab. Could it be that she's popping in from different timelines, disrupting Dexter's experiments and leaving us all in thoughts? There are two main reasons that this theory is somewhat lacking. The first one being that if Dee Dee had a secret power to travel through time, then it would have been revealed in the show, as it would be a hell of a plot twist. The second one is more interesting though. We all have watched our fair share of time travel, and we all know that the time travel always has consequences, just like in the case of Dexter. He created a nexus, or in simpler words, a time loop. One day at dinner time, young Dexter was all fired up about science as he excitedly shared his knowledge, but his family seemed about as interested as a snail in a race. The things he said went over their head. Poor Dexter felt like a lonely genius, but being the tough cookie, he pretended he didn't need his family's attention anyway. But then, out of the blue, Dexter found himself in an unknown dimension, and to his surprise, his family was right there with him. Well, not exactly a dream vacation spot. They were captured by some funky-looking aliens. They demanded Dexter to share his brainy secrets so they could get their hands on Earth's technology. But Dexter wasn't having any of it. He crossed his arms and put on his best stubborn face. So the aliens moved to their last resort, throwing Dexter in a thought-reading machine. Meanwhile, back in the alien slammer, Dexter's family hatched a plan to bust out of there and rescue their genius kid. They fought like fearless warriors, knocking down aliens left and right, all in the name of family love. Eventually, they stumbled upon Dexter, who was deep in thought and mumbling about how he ended up in this intergalactic pickle. Upon spotting his family, his face lit up like a supernova. With the aliens hot on their tails, they made a daring escape, running like mad through strange corridors. But just when they thought they were cornered, Dexter's brain went into overdrive. He used his smarts to find a secret escape route, and off they went. Before leaving that crazy dimension behind, the fearless family delivered a good old-fashioned whooping to the alien boss. New adventures and twists. Eventually, Dexter became beyond fed up with his glasses, playing a never-ending game of fall and stumble. Every time he got into the groove of his experiments, down they went. With a steady hand and a glimmer of craziness in his eyes, Dexter donned his lab coat and transformed his science table into an impromptu operating theater. After an operation that would make even the most daring surgeons raise an eyebrow, Dexter emerged triumphant. He had successfully given himself an eye makeover. But alas, his newfound victory was short-lived. The next day, Dexter couldn't bear the anticipation any longer. With impatience buzzing through his veins, he unraveled the gauze wrapped around his eyes. At first glance, everything seemed perfect. He could see, but as he focused closer, things started to take an unexpected ugly turn. It was as if his eyes were playing a cruel joke on him. But soon the gruesome torture came to an end as his sore eyes recovered. For the final phase of the story, we have Dexter's ego trip movie, as it was the last time we saw our beloved characters and their silly shenanigans. After foiling his rival Mandark's attempt to steal his latest invention, the neuroatomic protocore, Dexter's day takes an unexpected turn. Dee Dee, always full of surprises, stumbles upon a time machine in Dexter's lab and unwittingly activates it. Suddenly, a group of menacing red robots appear, claiming to be here to destroy the one who saved the future. To Dexter's advantage, the robots strangely refuse to attack him and are swiftly neutralized by his clever gadgets. Intrigued by the robot's cryptic message, Dexter decides to embark on a time-traveling adventure to discover just how cool he becomes in the future. With a determined young Dexter and his older cubicle-dwelling self, known as Number 12, they journey into the past, inadvertently leaving the neuroatomic protocore and its blueprints exposed for Mandark to snatch. On his first stop, he meets a weak version of himself working under the rule of Mandark, whereas at the second stop, Dexter and his weak self meet up with an elderly version. Their third destination reveals a dystopian world ruled by a twisted and tyrannical Mandark, thanks to the corrupted power of the neuroatomic protocore. A courageous and muscular action hero Dexter, who has spent years underground fighting against Mandark's reign, joins their cause. Action hero Dexter reveals the truth of how Mandark stole Dexter's ideas and usurped control, leading to the current state of the world. Unwilling to accept Mandark's oppression, the four Dexters unite and construct a colossal robot to infiltrate Mandark's fortress. Though the robot is destroyed in the battle, they confront the overweight and brain-controlled Mandark, determined to bring him down. Mandark summons versions of himself from different time periods to aid his cause, resulting in an intense and chaotic showdown. Amidst the struggle, Dee Dee unexpectedly emerges from the time machine and unknowingly restores the neuroatomic protocore's positive flow, reversing Mandark's control and restoring intelligence to the world. However, the Dexters, in their anger and confusion, mistakenly create robots to seek revenge on Dee Dee, believing she was the one who saved the future. Unbeknownst to them, this sets in motion the events they had just experienced. Returning to their respective time periods, the Dexters find themselves caught in a time loop. Young Dexter witnesses his future self battling the very robots he created. Feeling perplexed, Dexter chooses to ignore the complexities and decides to grab a sandwich, leaving Dee Dee to puzzle over the situation. As the movie concludes, Dexter remains frustrated, unaware that Dee Dee was the true hero who saved the future. So, this was the entire timeline of Dexter. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the Cartoonverse and click the bell icon for similar content.